What else on the agenda?
Let's see. Football is going on. We got the SWAC going on right now. I think they are finishing up today, if I'm not mistaken. The SEC, I think it started today. The commissioner is supposed to speak later on this afternoon. But my travels start on Monday at the Big 12, Dallas, Texas. It'll be a 2-day event. It'll be interesting to see how the UT contention looks this year when they walk into the room, whether they will look like a bunch of boys or whether they are taken this year to grow up and look like men. I'm still picking A&M and Oklahoma to take control of the conference this year, and I'm looking for A&M to still beat UT this year.
Let's touch on this. I just lost it off my screen, but and this is live, folks. We're doing this is how we do things. This is how we're going to do things, and might as well touch on it as well. We are looking for people interested in sponsoring the podcast. So if you want to get in touch with us, either myself or the Wildcat, visit my website or visit his blog for contact information, and we can talk to you. We're more than willing to discuss arrangements for sponsorship for you and with you as we see this grow, hopefully into bigger and better things. So, what's your take on Texas, University of Texas, and the Longhorn Network, especially regarding word of carrying high school football games on the network, which may deviate towards potential recruits for Texas?
I'm glad you asked that question. I will answer it this way. The University Interscholastic League, which was formed out of which department?
Texas, I believe, sir.
And when you go to the website, which program comes up on the website?
I believe Texas, sir.
So when you broach that subject and you mention that, you have to remind people that the reason we have and the reason it's called the University Interscholastic League is because the powers that be at the University of Texas decided to form the league and be responsible for it. Now, mind you, it is a different entity, but it's still ruled by with folks connected to the University of Texas. So with that in being said, they will be a part of the network.
Do you think
it depends on how the games are structured, well, as far as the broadcast is structured. And what I'm looking for, I guess what I'm trying to say is, you remember a couple of years ago we went to lunch with a fella, and he mentioned, and this was before the Big Ten network started out. We were sitting around discussing that, and said, that's once you go 24 hours, that's a lot of program you got to put together.
Right.
And when I heard that, high school would be broadcast over the network, I remember that conversation, because of that's what that boils down to. You got to have filler, and if there's a way to getting that done, that's the route they've chosen to go. But my biggest fear out of all of this is, at some point, it'll be too many TV cameras on campus. Meaning you won't be able to get things done because of so many cameras, so much TV time and all has to be done. Because you got to if you're going to do the Longhorn Network, you got to put program on. That means if you're getting insight, you're getting insight. Now you're getting into the locker room, practice, game day, meals, weight room, training for the situations.
Where does it end? Do you think? Well, I'm not even going to get into whether it's fair, because, you know, the Longhorns are a brand, they're a national brand.
Well, you and I both know they've been trying to put this together now for a while. What it boiled down to was, you mentioned this earlier this week about ESPN getting involved into something else.
It seemed like ESPN is trying to take over everything, clearly.
And they're headed that way. And you and I got bumped earlier in a situation.
We've been bumped with a few events because of the mothership.
Yeah, they decided they wanted to send.
We won't go into specifics.
But they wanted to send some other people. They wanted to add some spaces.
But yes, the small fishes, like you and I, got bumped by the shark or the whale or the behemoth.
Yeah, the gorilla, the 800-pound gorilla.
So, you know, the Aggies we're just going to be discussing it. Oklahoma people are going to be discussing a network. I mean, what it's been, are we getting to a point where every team in the big time BCS conference is going to have their own network? Are we getting to that point? Are we getting to a point where every major conference is going to, I mean, the Pac-12 has, I think, a TV network deal or something like that.
And I think that's the way to go, conference-wise, because when you go that route, you satisfy a lot of the programs that don't have the funds and all to do that. Now what you do is you put on a lot of ancillary programs that non-revenue programs, Olympic programs.
But can small, mid-major, and smaller conferences like Conference USA and the SWAC and the Southland and all of the Sun Belt, WAC, all of the conferences.
Well,
what can they do?
Are you old enough to remember the older regional sports network companies like Jefferson Pilot?
Raycom, those folks?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
hey man, I'm old. You know, I don't mean I'm old.
You know, and Diamond Shamrock. You know, what you had at that point was that kind of situation. You had a regional sponsor that would take care of all the schools in the area, and that's when some of us forget about. And during that period, the SWAC was getting a lot of TV time. They were getting there was a share billing, but for whatever reason, money convinced a lot of folks, a lot of ADs and presidents, to become a part of the network powers. So the companies like Raycom, Jefferson Pilot, they all went by the wayside. And everybody must remember, ESPN didn't choose the ACC and the Big East and our programs and all to start their companies with start their broadcasting with. They chose the SWC, and at that point, when they came down to negotiations, the teams didn't want to change their basketball schedules to where it would fit within parameters of East Coast, Midwest. And because of that, what you had was a split, then a dissolvent, and teams going all over the place. Because this wasn't the first time that UT and A&M were discussed as far as moving out. Because at that point, they were talking about joining the Pac-10, which was the Pac-8 at that time.
Why are you old, sir?
Well,
with your history, that's good. That's good that you share the knowledge, and that's what I appreciate. The different viewpoints that you and I both bring to these podcasts, and this is the various viewpoints that I hope the listeners will enjoy and appreciate and learn from us in these KG and Fifth Ward Wildcat podcasts. This is the fourth one. Yesterday, the NBA announced will release the 2011-2012 schedule.
Will it be a season?
And to a person, I'm getting to a colleague, a media colleague that I saw contacted yesterday. No one believes that all 82 games will be played this season. Very few people will even believe that there will even be a season. So the NBA announced the schedule. Whoopee, hooray. In fact, the sad thing about what the NBA did, during their press release of announcing the schedule, it says, in the event that the NBA is able to reach a new collective bargaining agreement with the Players Association in a timely fashion. That was included in the release that the league sent out in the first paragraph announcing the schedule. They have yet to have a scheduled meetings with involving David Stern and Billy Hunter, director of the Players Association. They had a small group meeting on Friday last week. I believe they have another small group meeting of this coming Friday in a few days. So maybe the small groups can do a better job hammering out details to take to the larger groups. And as far as I've been told and read yesterday, there won't be a group of the major folks like Stern and Hunter and Derek Fisher until August. What are they waiting on? I mean, there's no sense of urgency here.
He's got to go on vacation again.
See, that's my point. With crap like that,
you got to go on vacation.
We are a society that apparently needs deadlines in order to get stuff done. They've already, the Las Vegas Summer League, all those summer leagues have been squashed because the agreement wasn't reached. That was important to some folks. I already talked about this in I think podcast number 2. There were enough things going on this summer that were important enough to get an agreement done without needing deadlines, without needing to wait weeks in order to schedule meetings to get this stuff done. I don't understand it. I don't agree with it, but it is what it is. We're winding things up here. You have anything else you want to add? Oh, and by the way, for everyone listening, just because the Wildcats are going to be on the road at the Football Media Days does not mean there will not be podcasts next week.
That would definitely be a podcast.
Don't think that we're going to be off next week. We'll make it work. The longer we do this, the better we get at it, the more technologically savvy we'll get as we carry on this. Hopefully we'll do this every week throughout the year, throughout the season, football and basketball season, specifically. But this is something new that we're doing. We hope you enjoy it. Tell everybody once again where they can find out your information.
King Size View is the paper, news magazine, in print and online at www.kingsizeview.com. You can follow me on Twitter, hashtag AKSRE_VCSR, blogger, www.AKSRE_VCSR.blogspot.com. This is the 5th Ward Wildcat, and starting on Monday, I will be at the Big 12 Media Day in Dallas, Texas, Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday, I will be in Vegas at the WAC Football Media Day, and then on next Sunday, a week from Sunday, I will be in Memphis, Tennessee for Conference USA. The WAC will be an interesting media day, basically because they are adding football teams adding programs that will be coming online, and it will be good to talk to Coach Coker again. It's been a while. It's been almost 15 years since the last time I had a conversation with him in a ball game.
Definitely. Was it UTA, Texas Arlington?
Yes.
Texas San Antonio. Is there another Texas school? Texas State. Those 3 Texas schools are joining the WAC. That's going to be good for especially reducing expenses. So that's an important thing there. I'm KG with Houston Roundball Review. My website is www.houstonroundballreview.com. I'm on Twitter at hashtag THEHRReview. I'm on Facebook, Houston Roundball Review fan page, YouTube channel as well. I'm going to wrap up the podcast, and as I do always, be true, be cool, and do more.